un explorator elvețian a făcut istorie cu un zbor în jurul lumii cu un avion alimentat exclusiv cu energie solară. Bertrand Picard pregătește un nou zbor în jurul lumii, de data aceasta cu un avion care va fi alimentat doar cu hidrogen verde, iar planul său este susținut de mai multe state din lume. Discutăm chiar cu creatorul acestui proiect unicat despre ce înseamnă diplomație verde, dar și despre interesul lui Tom Cruise pentru o nouă misiune posibilă de această dată. Sunt Cristina Cileacu, începe Pașaport diplomatic. Dr. Bertrand Picard, explorer, psychiatrist and president of the Solar Impulse Foundation, welcome to Diplomatic Passport.
Thank you. Hello to everyone.
Imaginați-vă un avion de 2 locuri care înconjoară întreaga planetă fără nicio picătură de combustibil fosil, alimentat exclusiv cu hidrogen verde lichefiat la temperaturi extreme de minus 253 de grade Celsius. Acest proiect revoluționar nu propune doar un zbor demonstrativ, ci 9 zile consecutive în aer fără escale și, cea mai importantă parte, fără nicio emisie poluantă. Motoarele electrice, celulele de combustibil și rezervoarele special izolate transformă acest concept într-un laborator zburător pentru viitorul aviației. Dincolo de impresionanta provocare tehnică, avionul cu hidrogen reprezintă un mesaj puternic într-o lume care are disperată nevoie de soluții. Tehnologia curată nu este doar posibilă, ci este pregătită să decoleze.
Dr. Picard, you have a very ambitious project right now. You want to fly a two-seat plane around the world for 9 days and the fuel will be only green hydrogen. How do you do it?
The goal is to have renewable and clean electricity that will electrolyze the water to produce hydrogen. And then this hydrogen is liquefied at minus 253 degrees, almost the absolute zero, to be stored in very well insulated fuel tanks in the plane. And we just use a little bit of the hydrogen that is evaporating to go through a fuel cell, reproduce electricity that will feed electric motors. And like this, we believe that we can fly for 9 days, 2 people, non-stop around the world, and zero emission. Absolutely no pollution. And we want to show that we can do much more than what we think. There are solutions for climate action. We have to restore hope. We have to show that working all together, we can really make a huge difference. But for this, you need a flagship, you need to show the example, and this is what I want to do.
De la viziune la realitate. Cum se naște un avion care nu a existat niciodată? Construcția primului aparat de zbor din lume, capabil să înconjoare planeta folosind exclusiv hidrogen verde, reprezintă o provocare tehnică fără precedent. Fără manuale de instrucțiuni, fără modele anterioare de urmat, echipa din spatele acestui proiect ambițios navighează pe teritorii complet necartografiate ale ingineriei. Cu rezervoare speciale pentru hidrogen lichefiat la temperaturi criogenice și materiale compozite de ultimă generație, acest avion nu este doar un experiment, ci o nouă paradigmă a zborului.
But how do you build such a plane? Because I can imagine you have to build it from scratch.
There is no benchmark. Nobody can tell us because it has never been done before. So we had the support of Airbus to design the plane for the aerodynamic. We have the support from Ariane Group, Ariane Espace, for the hydrogen tanks. And the main partner in this project is called ScienceCo. It's a Belgium multinational company specialized in materials for the future. And they provide the carbon fiber, the membranes for the fuel cell, the insulation of the tanks in order to be able to build it. And now, in 1 year, we have done already 1/3 of the plane. Now we see the wings, we see the fuselage for the cockpit, and by the end of the year, we should have the airplane ready to start the test flights next year.
And considering that this thing is completely new, it was never done before, how long are you going to test it before you will literally fly around the world without refueling the plane?
We planned about 1 year and a half, maybe 2 years of testing. Or the first test flight, you know, it's just 1 meter above the runway. And then you make a circuit around the airport. And then you will fly Further, we plan to fly to Morocco because we have Moroccan partners, the University Mohammed VI Polytechnic and the OCP, Office Sharifia des Phosphates, who wants to diversify into hydrogen. So we will fly to Morocco, long duration flights, and by 2028, if everything goes well, we plan to fly around the world.
Cum poate deveni profitabilă protejarea planetei? Criza climatică pare să intre în conflict cu interesele economice, dar regulile jocului se pot schimba. Ideea că tehnologia și economia se exclud reciproc devine învechită. Noile tehnologii reduc consumul, cresc eficiența și creează locuri de muncă. Pentru liderii care încă privesc protejarea mediului ca pe un cost, mesajul e clar. Nu mai vorbim despre viitor, ci despre o oportunitate prezentă. Industria este pregătită. Întrebarea sunt și decidenții politici.
You did show till now all your projects were a proof that you can actually have a profit in the same time that you protect as well the environment. But we see the world leaders having a different opinion that protecting the environment and protecting the planet in general is no longer profitable for them. What advice would you give to the leaders of the world that have these tendencies?
It is very clear that in the past, protecting the environment was expensive. And today, the leaders of the world have not understood that times have changed. Today, we have identified at the Solar Impulse Foundation 1,800 solutions that are economically profitable to protect the environment. They create new jobs. They make new product and new business opportunities for the industry. They make energy savings or even money savings for the public, for all the citizens. In every field, energy, water, mobility, construction, industry, agriculture, circular economy, waste management, everywhere. Why? Because they are more efficient. It means they allow to have a better outcome with a reduction in the resource and the energy consumption. So the profit margin is higher. You don't need to be a genius to understand that. What I just would like is that the leaders of the world understand that times have changed, that the industry is bringing solutions, they can use these solutions, and at the same time, they develop the economy, they increase the GDP, they create jobs, and they protect the environment, and they stop to deplete the natural resources and to destroy biodiversity.
You did mention a few partners of this project you are working now, but is there any political support as well from various countries, I don't know, Europe or around the globe, for what you do in order for world leaders to understand what you do better?
During the Solar Impulse project, when I flew around the world with a solar-powered airplane 1 year ago, 10 years ago already, we had the support of the European Commission. We had the European flag on the plane. We had the flag from the Olympics. We had the flag from the Explorers Club. So there were a lot of people supporting us, and now we are doing this again. President Macron in France said that he wants to give his patronage, the European Commission also, and we are open to have as many countries as possible who support the project. And Romania, of course, is more than welcome to be part of the support that we will have for Climate Impulse.
Momentul în care climatul devine o notă de subsol pe agenda globală, iar liderii lumii își îndreaptă atenția spre jocuri de putere și echilibre geopolitice fragile, realitatea rămâne aceeași. Aerul devine tot mai greu de respirat, solurile tot mai sărace, iar oamenii tot mai vulnerabili. Întrebarea nu mai este dacă trebuie să acționăm, ci de ce alegem să ignorăm evidența.
Well, apparently the world leaders are now much more focused on the global shifting of the powers that we all witness in all our countries. Is anyone from these leaders still paying attention to the climate as a priority? Because the nature continues to affect us in various ways.
Today, if you want to have social wealth, social development, you need to allow people to stop wasting money for energy and natural resources. if you want to create jobs at a high level, you need also to go into new business opportunities. If you want to stop wars, you also have to create a balance for water, for rare earth. You know, all these things that are directly linked to climate change. So if you want peace and social well-being, you need to take into consideration the environment, including for health. You have 8 million people per year who are dying from air pollution. So it's clear that we need to go to renewable energy. We need to go to energy efficiency. We need to go to everything that increases the quality of life. And that doesn't prevent anyone to also take care of other problems, because there are other problems about inflation, about wars, about whatever, safety. But the main priority on the long run, it is to have an environment that allows a good quality of life.
Europa se declară lider mondial în tranziția verde, dar realitatea din teren arată că nu toți actorii politici sau sociali au înțeles esența timpurilor pe care le trăim. Protecția mediului nu înseamnă sacrificiu, ci șansă. Șansă pentru inovație, competitivitate și creșterea calității vieții. Provocarea nu mai este lipsa tehnologiei, ci voința de a o aplica. Între activismul simbolic și soluțiile concrete, Europa are de ales stagnarea sau progresul sustenabil.
And how do you see that this issue is challenged and addressed at the level of Europe? Because we put aside the rest of the world, but in European Union, in Europe in general, it's a lot of attention to the quality of life of the citizens, to the climate change and to all these problems created by climate.
In Europe, a lot of people have not yet understood neither that protection of the environment and climate action and decarbonization and renewable energies and energy efficiency will make Europe more competitive. That's important to understand. It's a question of making Europe more competitive. And today, you still have different political parties who don't understand that. And I'm sorry to say, but the green activists, when they are gluing their hands on the street, or throwing tomato sauce on the paintings in a museum, they are not serving the cause of climate action. They are showing a bad image. So if we want to give a good image of the energy and the ecological transition, we have to show solutions that come from the industry, that will raise the GDP of the country, that will increase the quality of life. And if we really show this, then there will be no discussion, no opposition around the protection of the environment. But as long as you have people who still believe that it is sacrificial and expensive, it won't work. And this is why with the Solar Impulse Foundation, we have now identified 1,800 systems, products, material, devices, process that are economically profitable to protect the environment. And we are ready to speak to every government and bring them all these solutions. I came to Romania. I spoke to some ministers of the previous government. I'm more than happy to come again and really to show these solutions, because they exist. They just need to be used, and it's reconciliation of ecology and economy.
And can you give us, for the public to understand, just one of these examples, to know better what to expect, what is easier to do and the politicians don't get?
Yes. For example, recovering the lost heat from the chimney of a factory, from a data center, from underground parkings. You can recover that heat and recycle it in the energy system of a country. You save a lot of energy. You save a lot of money on your energy bill also. You have systems now that allow to construct a building with less concrete, less metal, cheaper, better insulated. And then when you have a heat pump that is taking the heat from the ground to heat the building, you have a much smaller energy bill for the people living in the building. So of course you need to invest a little bit in the beginning, but then you have maybe 80% less energy bill in the month. So it's worth it. You see, and everywhere you have systems like this, in every field, you can produce construction stone with the unrecyclable waste of the city instead of throwing away the waste or putting them in a landfill. You use them. You make construction stones, you make gravel. And this is a business. You know, it's an industry that is going to do it. Recycling the batteries of the electric cars. It's a new business. You create jobs. You create businesses, market opportunities. And I have 1,795 other examples to give you.
Lumea este tot mai competitivă, iar deciziile tehnologice nu mai pot aștepta. În timp ce China își coordonează rapid direcțiile strategice, Europa se află prinsă într-o rețea complexă de reglementări și procese birocratice. Viitorul nu poate aștepta, așa că trebuie echilibrat rapid respectul pentru diversitate cu nevoia de a acționa.
This is also a matter of involving technology, and another big competition among the world countries is of course the technological one. How do you see, let's just take European Union, European continent, comparing it with China? How big is the difference? How big is the gap, if there is such a big gap?
In China, you have one man at the top who decides. In Europe, you have 27 countries, and in the 27 countries, you have hundreds of different parliamentarians coming from different parties, and it takes ages to have decisions, and it takes ages to make things more simple. Europe is too complicated. Europe has too much administration. So if you want, for example, to build a new factory to produce hydrogen, it will take 5 years of paperwork, then 5 years of opposition from other people who don't understand what you want to do, and in 10 years, you still don't have your factory for your hydrogen production. So it's clear that Europe is going far too slowly, and this is a pity because in Europe, we have very good values, human values, democracy, respect for minorities, respect for all the other religions, for other parties. Europe is a wonderful flagship for tolerance and respect. But unfortunately, we are losing a lot of results because it's too complicated and it takes too long to take a decision.
Returning to your new project, a big supporter of yours is, from my understanding, Tom Cruise. He believes it's a mission possible this time, not impossible. He also wants to fly as well in the plane that you are building. When can we expect, on a very long term, I guess, for the rest of us to have this opportunity if your project will be a success, and pretty sure will be?
Yes, it's true that Tom Cruise, 10 days ago, when I met him, was really enthusiastic. I showed him the drawings of the plane and the plan of the construction, and he was enthusiastic. Now, I believe that to make it commercial, you need maybe 20 years before you have the first airplanes that are going to be allowed to take passengers. So, of course, it's not tomorrow. But for the development of cell phones, it was also like this. You know, the first cell phone in 1980 costed $15,000. It was big as a suitcase, and nobody believed that it would be possible to have a cell phone in the pocket of every person. And now we have it. So it's exactly the same. We are at the beginning of a hydrogen revolution. And of course, the people who look in the past are thinking it's impossible. The people who look in the future say we have to try. And that's what I'm doing.
And what is actually your motivation for all these projects you are creating? What drives you to continue?
What drives me is the conviction that we can do better than what we do now. Today, we produce too much pollution. We destroy biodiversity. We deplete the natural resources of our world, and we handicap the future of humankind. We can do better than that. We can do better, and that's what drives me. This is why I put my foundation, Solar Impulse Foundation, on the challenge of identifying solutions. And this is why I want to lead the way with the hydrogen revolution and show that if we can fly around the world non-stop with hydrogen, of course we can use hydrogen in a lot of other sectors. And if we can do it in the sky, we can do it on the ground.
Dr. Bertrand Picard, thank you so much for this interview and best of luck with your project.
Thank you very much, and I will keep you updated. Thank you for always being interested in what I'm doing.
Thank you. Atât pentru astăzi, dar rămânem în continuare online pe pagina de Facebook a emisiunii și pe conturile noastre de X și Instagram. Revenim cu subiecte noi din lumea diplomației și a politicii externe, vinerea viitoare de la 11:30 și reluare sâmbătă după miezul nopții. La revedere!